The top 10 strongest Black Clover characters. I see no reason to dilly-dally, let's go straight into it. This list will definitely contain manga spoilers, so be spoiled at your own fruition, bro. As an honorable mention, I have Mushigo Take Yotsuga. I hope I didn't botch that name. But he's the leader of the Ryuzu 7 and the strongest person in the Land of the Sun. With Ichika absolutely manhandling Devil Union Asta after the 1.5 year time skip, there we go. Just imagine what he would do to him. I would actually place him on the list, but I feel like it's unfair to do so when we haven't seen him fight at full strength. He's got iron magic, he's a cool guy, but I feel like we need more feats to actually place him properly. But at number 10, I have Xenon. Of all the Dark Triad members, Xenon most definitely put on the best performance, and it's not close. Even when Yuno had awakened his star magic, he was still having a tough time beating Xenon, and Xenon even beat his ass beforehand. It was only when Yuno had awakened Saint Stage is when it was Rhapsodingo. I didn't want to say raps, but I feel like Rhapsodingo isn't lingo either that should be used. It was just raps for Xenon after Yuno started using Saint Stage magic. With great regeneration, bone magic and spatial magic, Xenon was most definitely strong, with one of the top 3 highest ranking devils in Black Clover, Beelzebub, helping him. But I honestly think at the end we could be able to argue Mushigo Take Yotsuga above him, but now at number 9 I have Captain Yami. Now, I like Captain Yami, he's one of my favourite characters, but I feel like in these most recent arcs, he's taken a bit of a, not a massive one, but just a bit of a step back, you know what I mean? But even then, he's still a top 3 captain in terms of strength, easily. With his new Devil Heart, he has an increased level of magic, his dark magic is already incredible, and so many people are fortunate that they don't fight Yami, because unless your name's Lucius, Socrates, or Dante, you're not surviving a death thrust, which literally just donuts you instantly. As well as having abilities like Black Moon that absorb other people's spells. And key, this man's low-key Mr. Haxy Hacks, you know what I'm saying? Don't know why I'm doing all this. As well as this, he was able to help ward off Lucifero with Noct, but it's still a mystery if he knows Zetten, I'm gonna say Zetten, it sounds smooth, rolls off the tongue nicely. But I highly doubt he does know it since he left the Land of the Sun when he was young. However, he has a grimoire, but he doesn't have one of those Yojutsu scrolls. You know what I mean? So it's like, he has a grimoire, but he doesn't have a Yojutsu scroll, which is like the Land of the Sun equivalent of a grimoire. Similar to how Yuno had a Clover grimoire and a Spade Kingdom grimoire, even though he had it for a separate reason. But it's like potential power up for Yami. Is that what we saying? Is that what we saying or nah, bruh? But on to number 9, bruh. And I have everyone's favorite new gen female, or at least my favorite new gen female, Mariliona. One underrated thing that people ignore about Mariliona is the fact that she doesn't want to be Wizard King. Flagonio and Nozel both outright said, "We are too weak to be Wizard King." But he said, Mariliona must feel it's just too much trouble. Too much trouble to be Wizard King. Come on, man. She was the only other captain with Yami fighting Lucifero. Despite having no arcane stage magic, she fought an ancient demon all by herself and then went on to fight Lucifero. She's a master at utilizing mana, with her mastering Mana Zone and arguably being the best magic user in terms of skill. We see other people like Yuno and Asta with anti-magic and star magic that's completely hacked out, but Mariliona has nothing but fire. And she's still able to fight on par with such dangerous individuals and overpower them and outshine all of these other characters within the Black Clover. She puts all the other captains to shame, but these next 2, people, they're not gonna like it, but I'm ready to fight on this shit, bro. You got a problem, put them hands up, boy. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. I have Lumiere and Licht. That kind of rhymes. Now hear me out. These 2 are so underrated in strength because when we saw them, they were so nerfed. Licht alone, with nowhere close to his full power, was demolishing Asta and Yuno at the same time. And yes, Asta and Yuno were both much weaker then, but he was still asleep, he wasn't trying, and he beat them both at the same time. Even versus Zagrid, in his asleep state, he was stated to be relative to Zagrid in terms of mana output. He was a higher ranking devil and has his grimoire and is fully manifested. Licht didn't have his grimoire, he had nothing but one of his swords and he wasn't fully awakened. And not having your grimoire, by the way, makes you a lot weaker. Later he was somewhat awakened by Seca/Nero, but Lumiere was even worse off than Licht, with him being awakened in his body that was pushed to the brink of death by Licht when he turned into the demon all those years ago, with his body falling apart, but they still managed to blitz Zagrid. With Lumiere's light magic, he's insanely quick and can even use Mana Zone in his decrepit state. Licht is able to gain strength with his Demon Dweller sword and absorb other people's magic when they throw that shit at him, bro. And we don't even know what he can do with the other swords since he only had one of them. Never mind like pulling off spells with his grimoire and shit. These guys are insanely strong, and the only reason they couldn't beat Zagrid was because the only arcane stage magic can destroy a devil's heart, or something like that. And Licht even one-shotted Zagrid and completely disintegrated his entire body and left nothing but his heart. So I'm confident with putting these two here if we have them at full power. So yeah. I have Magicula. Now Magicula is underrated in strength. No one even speaks about how strong she is. But let me put it like this. It took Nozel, Undine the Water Spirit, Asta, Nozel, Charlotte, Rill, Godja and Luck just to defeat Magicula. She was a replacement for Astaroth on the Tree of Queepath since he disappeared from the underworld, but she was definitely chosen as a replacement for a reason. She had 3 different types of magic, with curse warding magic to curse people and make spells weaker, blood magic and steel magic. I'm confident with putting her here, but at number 4 I got Lucifero. This man had all of the strongest mages fighting him and was still winning despite only having half his power. Gravity magic, haxed out AF, and even his physical strength is super immense. I don't doubt why he was the top ranking devil, but I don't know how he would fare against the next 3 at full power. But it would definitely be a high diff fight, but it's like, at this point I'm just going to be like, not guessing as such, but it's like just an estimation, you know what I mean? But you also, I don't think he had a grimoire. He wasn't fully awakened, so I do think you could definitely argue him again above the next 2. But at number 3, I got Asta. Having anti-magic in a world completely predicated on magic is one of the most useful things ever. He's always on the front lines of any important fight. He grows super quickly in fights, as Licht and Lumiere both acknowledge. But his problem is, bro, his forms don't last long enough and it gets so annoying and it's such a detrimental thing to his arsenal. Anti-magic as well isn't the end all be all when you're coming against people like Lucifer and Lucius who can combat him with physical strength alone. He can't use the Demon Dweller sword like Licht did with the ability to absorb magic, even though he did it before. But now he's learning Zetan and he is a master at key. So he has a lot going for him, with him being the main factor for every main fight in the series pretty much, since anti-magic is just it. But at number 2, Gribbly, something like that. Number 2, I have Yuno. This man alone beat Xenon and wasted him after awakening his Saint stage magic, super hacked out magic with star magic. He's mastered both forms of his magic and is always praised on his level of growth during fights with great battle IQ, and he took out a bunch of higher ranking devils in an instant. I have to put him above Asta. What do I have, like, how can I put Asta above him? He's the main character. Fuck that, no! He's the natural enemy of Lucius Zogrites, with him being unable to be stopped in time, and even killing Lucius. Right now I do think Yuno is the strongest mage across all kingdoms, with him now being declared captain of the Golden Dawn. So until Asta shows more feats, bro, Yuno's that seat for the Wizard King, bro, that throne. That shit's got Yuno's name on it, I'll be honest. As well as this, bro, Yuno has had the upper hand against the very same opponent that negged Asta. So it's like, you know what I'm saying. Number 1, I have, let me try this transition. Lucius Zogrites. I hope that transition worked. But the hacks on this man are insane. He has all of the magic that the Dark Triad had. Gravity, space, body, plus the addition of time magic from Astaroth that allows him to control the flow of time and see into multiple futures. As well as soul magic where he can alter other people's souls, whether they be dead or alive. I don't want to say this is God because that's blasphemous, but this is a god in anime, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Yuno did have him on the back foot up until he decided to go into another anime and learn Shadow Clone Jutsu and then say, we're not done here, mate, we're just getting started, okay? I do think only Yuno and Asta together can beat this man, and even then, I honestly don't see them beating him still. I have no idea how anyone can do it alone. They better not pull some like what's it called, like, you know when a villain's like overpowering someone, but then they also have like someone on the inside of them, so then the person on the inside suppresses them, and then for that one moment of weakness they die. Forget that. If Tabata does that, bro, Koiba, boycott Tabata. But I think as of right now, Lucius is the strongest, and it's not really a debate. Maybe you'll like this One Piece video about the top 20 strongest, or this Naruto video about the top 10 strongest, but subscribe for more algorithm bullshit, and peace. I'll see you later, baby.